I want to preface this video by saying that this is in no way to de facto what happened at the end of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Don't even try to tell me nothing else about what happened in Union Cross, or that you can't even share your thoughts with me on what happened in Union Cross. You guys know how it goes here, but this is just for any new people who may click on this video because of how big I think this topic is going to be within the Kingdom Hearts community as more people start to find out about what happened yesterday. So let's talk about Brain and Luxu. This is going to be the first topic we're going to talk about from the ending, because what happens with Brain appears to be the biggest details from what happens in Union Cross, or in other words, he is the key character within Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. He's going to be connected to the future of events and potentially how the characters become aware of the Master of Masters and everything else. So let's get into it. Brain and Luxu are having a discussion at the end of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross right before the epilogue, right before the ending, where, of course, we see what happens to all of the characters, and then also what happens to Brain as he returns to Scarlet at Kylam. But before we get to that point, of course, let's jump back to the discussion. When Luxu and Brain are having their discussion, Brain describes to Luxu his plans as to how he hoped for the other Union leaders to be capable of surviving by getting into the lifeboats and going forward, in which Luxu tells him that, did you know that the lifeboat requires someone who knows of the characters, at least knows of the characters, which would mean memories and potentially a connection at the heart level, meaning kind of like how Sora is connected. A connection like that has to be, waiting on them wherever they arrive in time. So if the lifeboats take them somewhere far off in time where all of those characters are dead, then either the lifeboat will not open, or it will not sustain their essence, or potentially it may even just return them to where they were in time or in space, which could be how Brain wound up in Scarlet at Kylam, but I'll get to that when I get to that. And at the end of that scene, all we see is Luxu reaching for Brain. He says to Brain that it would be a waste with his brilliance to let him die with the world. And that's it. That's all we see. Whatever process he does to either become Brain or preserve Brain through time that he appears in Scarlet at Kylam, we don't know. And that's where this explanation video comes from, because there are details within this that potentially could tell us whether or not what the case is. So here we go. In my opinion, or I'm of the opinion, that Luxu does not take Brain's body. Rather, what I believe he does is preserve his heart within the lifeboat, or do they call them life rafts? Whatever they call them. He preserves his heart there, but he turns Brain into a nobody and a heartless. Well, he should become a heartless, but of course, being preserved, his heart won't fall into darkness. Of course, with this being the process, I think Luxu takes up Brain's essence. Remember this, nobodies carry the memories. They carry the memories. That's what nobodies are supposed to be, basically a second chance at existing after the original person is destroyed by means that isn't natural, or by getting attacked by a heartless, whatever the fuck. However it happens, I don't know, because there's multiple different ways that nobodies have come about. Of course, we had Ansem doing what he did to all of the characters in Radiant Garden, and then we had Sora releasing his own heart and stuff like that. So it has to be unnatural means in some way, form, or fashion. The heart has to be released early, and the character has to have a strong will. Of course, Brain being willing to sacrifice himself for his friends is strong enough of a will that you can look death straight in the eyes and still be willing to go forward. So obviously that would be a strong-willed person. So he does have the qualifications to create a nobody. And if Luxu did do it this way, then that would make perfect sense for there to be a Luxu who existed right after the events of what happened in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, to be walking in the Keyblade Graveyard and say, may my heart be my guiding key. And then there also appears to be a Luxu that appears to appear somewhere in time, because he meets a new character named Sigurd that says it was determined that you would appear here. Meaning, in other words, that he would be recreated and appear, because, obviously he's not traveling, he doesn't even know where he is, and for two, he doesn't appear to understand that, of course, he's just right back in the exact same place. It's just Daybreak Town is now Skyla at Kylum. So with that being the case, it's highly unlikely that he's traveling. And if this is Luxu, I don't believe Luxu has some form of travel, kind of like how in Dream Drop Distance, of course, you see the characters going towards the world that they're about to land in, but then when they get there, they don't know where they are. I don't think Luxu is such a character like Sora and Riku to where they don't know where they are, where they landed, and stuff like that. And plus, if Luxu was around, I think it would be pretty clear that he would know about Skyla at Kylum in some way, form, or fashion. Like, in some way, form, or fashion, he would know about Skyla at Kylum. And the words, it was determined that you would appear here, is different from just saying, we would hope, we hoped, or, you know, he hoped, as in Ephemera hoped, that you would just appear here again because you were destroyed during, you know, the event, the ending of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross when Daybreak Town disappears, or when Daybreak Town is destroyed. That's very distinctive. It was determined, meaning that people, they knew he was going to return, and not only that he was going to return, but he would return somewhere in Skyla at Kylum. So with that being the case, obviously, somewhere, some way, somehow, someone became aware of whatever Luxu did to him, or someone became aware that he would appear there at some point in time. So that would mean that there's no way Luxu just simply took his body, because what is the qualifications for Luxu to jump ship as he described within Kingdom Hearts 3's report? Because he says he's taken many different bodies, but we don't know whether or not how is he doing this process? Does he have an essence or not? In other words, is he a human? Is he like other characters? Or could he just simply be like Ansem, to where he's just a heart running around, his form feels closed, but he doesn't have a true form, meaning that he could just simply walk into someone else's body and take temporary or permanent control over their body. You see what I'm saying? So that's what would make it make sense if he created a nobody, because if they're strong characters, we don't even know the full possibilities of the foreteller's powers. Luxu qualifies as a foreteller, so with that being said, he could know of a way of just simply by touch separating a person's heart and body, creating a heartless, or, well, let's call him a heartless and a nobody, and just simply being able to walk into the nobody, preserve the heart, and put it into the lifeboat. Because when Luxu jumps ship, and he will jump ship, because he has to be in Braig at some point, he even describes it in the secret reports, that he takes Braig's body. So if and when he jumps ship, well, not even if, when he jumps ship, of course, how is this happening for Brain to return at this point? I mean, because we have to consider Sigurd uses an earpiece. We don't see anything, well, to my knowledge, we haven't seen anything like an earpiece as to, of course, the times of old, during the age of fairy tales. Not even within Union Cross have we seen an earpiece. In Kingdom Hearts as a whole, from 1 to 3, we haven't seen earpieces. So where did Sigurd get an earpiece from? There's no way to describe that unless this is distant into the future. In fact, we know it to be distant because why is there a statue of Ephemera? Like, I mean, yeah, Ephemera is supposed to be the founder, so of course they're going to put a statue of him, but the statues are supposed to represent after someone's passing. And if Ephemera is supposed to be the old man that takes Xehanort to Destiny Islands, then, I mean, this has to be somewhere around at least 60 years after the events of Union Cross. After the epilogue and after the story, but Brain is still young. How else have we seen characters be preserved through time? Lee, Isa, and the rest of the characters at Radiant Garden being preserved through time by becoming a nobody and a heartless. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on what I think happened to Brain. Let me know what you guys think. If you think that there is enough information here to work it the other way around with Luxu just simply taking his body, I'm willing to hear that too. The point of this video is that I think this is going to be the biggest thing coming out of Union Cross, leaving us with Brain, which is going to tie us into these events and take us forward after we get Sora back and everything like that, so that way we can start to see the characters begin to prepare themselves as far as powers, as far as understanding of what's going on in the world, what the world really is, what the true threats are, and why Xehanort was the way he was. I think that this is going to be that defining thing going forward, because of course with Xehanort being revealed to be player character, and I have a video for this, it makes perfect sense as to why Xehanort is the way he is. And when I tell you guys in that video why he is the way he is and why he did the things he did, you guys will start to understand exactly why Xehanort was the villain in the first saga of Kingdom Hearts. And with the next saga, I think Brain, instead of being a villain, is going to be how we work our way to the Master of Masters. Like, he's going to be that character. Remember how I kept saying before that Ava was going to be that character? Well, she has yet to appear. However, we do have information such as Brain appearing in the distant future where technology seems to be more advanced. Because think about it like this. Skyla at Kylam, as how it appears within Kingdom Hearts Union Cross's secret movie, doesn't even look the way it looked in Kingdom Hearts 3. But not even Kingdom Hearts 3, but a game in the exact same style, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. They don't look the same. Even in Kingdom Hearts 3, when we traverse Skyla at Kylam, the buildings, I mean, yes, there's different islands, but the buildings look nothing like how they look within, of course, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross's secret movie. So I'll come back to you guys with the Xehanort video, and I hope you guys will share with me your thoughts on what you think Luxu did to Brain. To reclarify TLDR, or, got lost in the sauce, I think Luxu just simply separated him heartless and nobody, preserved the heart in the lifeboat, took up the nobody so that way he could carry the memories for Brain to make sure that his friend survived. And now that Luxu has jumped ship from Brain's body, now their essence has come together. And honestly, I think Brain has been resurrected, not sometime before, but after the events of Kingdom Hearts 3. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. This has been your boy Mozzie. Don't forget to do a little A-Class gaming, and peace the heck